The more one is open to the mother's action, the more easily difficulties get solved and the right thing is done. You must throw all that away. Such depressions can make you shut to what the mother is giving you. There is absolutely no good reason for such an attitude. The existence of difficulties is a known thing in the yoga. There is no reason for questioning the final victory or the effectuality of the divine grace. It is when there is no attachment to outward things for their own sake, and all is only for the mother, and the life through the inner psychic being is centered in her, that the best condition is created for the spiritual realization. Never mind about the purity of the body. The love of the mother purifies both heart and body. If the soul's aspiration is there, the body also is pure. What happened in the past does not in the least matter. The mother's help is always there, but you are not conscious of it, except when the psychic is active and the consciousness not clouded. The coming of suggestions is not a proof that the help is not there. Suggestions come to all, even to the greatest sadhaks or to the avatars, as they came to Buddha or Christ. Obstacles are there. They are part of nature, and they have to be overcome. The mother's help is always there for those who are willing to receive it. But you must be conscious of your vital nature. And the vital nature must consent to change. It is no use merely observing that it is unwilling, and that when thwarted, it creates depression in you. Always the vital nature is not at first willing, and always when it is thwarted or asked to change, it creates this depression by its revolt or refusal of consent. You have to insist till it recognizes the truth and is willing to be transformed and to accept the mother's help and grace. If the mind is sincere and the psychic aspiration complete and true, the vital can always be made to change. What is still restless in the vital has to quiet down for the peace of mind to be even and constant. It has to be controlled, but only control will not be enough. The mother's power has to be called always. Put the mother's notice henceforth at the door of your vital being. Quotes, no falsehood hereafter shall ever enter here, end quote. And station a sentry there to see that it is put into execution. When difficulties arise, remain quiet within and call down the mother's force to remove them. To call to the mother always is the main thing. And with that, to aspire and ascend to the light when it comes, to reject and detach oneself from desire and any dark movement. But if one cannot do these other things successfully, then call and still call. The mother's force is there with you, even when you do not feel it. Remain quiet and persevere. If when the movements you complain of come, you remain quiet and open to the mother and call her, after a time you will find a change beginning to come in you. Meditation is not enough. Think of the mother and offer your work and action to her. That will help you better. Even when one cannot call in actively the mother's force, one must keep the reliance that it will come. Question: what is the right way of meeting one's recurring difficulties? Sri Aurobindo: equality, rejection, calling on the mother's force. Another question: what is the best means for the sadhaks to avoid suffering due to the action of the hostile forces? Sri Aurobindo: faith in the mother and complete surrender. The experience you had of the power of a name and the protection is that of everyone who has used it with the same faith and reliance. To those who call from the heart for the protection, it cannot fail. Do not allow any outward circumstance to shake the faith in you, for nothing gives greater strength than this faith to go through and arrive at the goal. Knowledge and tapasya, whatever their force, have a less sustaining power. Faith is the strongest staff for the journey. The protection is there over you, and the watchful love of the mother. Rely upon it and let your being open more and more to it. Then it will repel attacks and always uphold you. One rule for you I can lay down: do not do, say, or think anything which you would want to conceal from the mother. And that answers the objections that rose within you from your vital, is it not? Against bringing these petty things to the mother's notice. Why should you think that the mother would be bothered by these things or regard them as petty? If all the life is to be yoga, what is there that can be called petty or of no importance? Even if the mother does not answer, to have brought any matter of your action and self-development before her in the right spirit means to have put it under her protection. In the light of the truth, under the rays of the power that is working for the transformation. For immediately those rays begin to play and act on the thing brought to her notice. Anything within that advises not to do it when the spirit in you moves to do it may very well be a device of the vital to avoid the ray of the light and the working of the force. It may also be observed that if you open yourself to the mother by putting the movements of any part of you under her observation, that of itself create a relation, a personal closeness with her, other than that which her general silent or not directly invited action maintains with all the sadhaks. And the last quote. All this, of course, if you feel ready for this openness, if the Spirit moves you to lay what is in you bare before her, for it is then it is fruitful, when it comes from within and is spontaneous and true. Namaste.